What's going on, everybody? It's Dev here. I've been asked a lot recently about my setup and like live bait fishing in general. So, first thing I usually do is I look for live bait hooks, free line hooks, steel, like just any type of hooks. You got, this is a good example like that, bait holder hooks. They're different names. They can have the little extra points on the backs, or they can be straight shanked. Let's see if I can find one of them. Show you. Like this. Straight shanked, or they can have the extra barbs. Personally, I prefer the straight shank anymore because I start to tie snell knots a lot, or the improved double clinch or something like that. It's where you double it and spin it around and take it through. That's a good knot. But I use those two knots. I use bait holder hooks, size 2 to 2/0, depending on the bait. And for the bait, like for smallmouth in the river, I prefer white suckers and stone rollers. But chubs work pretty good. Like shiners do too, but they just don't dive. And like me, I try to not use any weights when fishing, or I don't really. I'll just tie a hook and use my line. And for the line, I recommend braid. Like I'll go 20-pound braid or 30. It just depends. Sometimes I've used 10-pound, but I wouldn't recommend that. That's pretty light. And for the rod, I always use a medium of some sort. A medium. In the 6'10" to 7'6" range. And for your reel, a 2,000 is just fine, or a 3,000 will do amazing. I run 20-pound braid. I take the bait. I usually hook it through the nose and cast it up current and let it swim. Keep your line up. Keep a watch on the line. Keep feeling for the bite. I usually let it do the job a lot. I mean, you can twitch it every now and again. The key is to plan to where it's going to drift before with the cast. But after that, I recommend using fray bill. If you're going to go the cast net route and you're just starting out, a 4-foot cast net is the way to go. I personally use a 6-foot cast net. The minnow traps that they have, fray bill does really well. And the buckets are cheap and do really well. I recommend the trolling buckets to tie to you in the current. That way when you're pulling it, it cycles water and keeps the bait good and fresh. You can usually fit 25 really big ones to 35 smaller ones per bucket. And by the smaller ones, I recommend 3 to 4 inches. And the bigger ones, you can go up to about 9 for the big smallmouth. If you use the 9-inch bait, I would recommend getting a 2/0 hook. And I would throw those J hooks. But that's probably the most budget friendly and like cheapest way to go to the river and have fun. And for non-experienced people as well, you'll eventually catch something with live bait, even if you don't. But if you know what you're doing, it really is like live scope. I mean, it helps, especially if you can see fish or they're in the hole. You just take your time and don't spook them, and you just sit there and fish it, and eventually they'll usually come around. A lot of times they do, sometimes they won't, but just stick with it. And especially in the fall and winter when they're feeding on bait priority, like that's their main bait feed, like the bait fish, that's their primary source of food right now. It's the best way to go about it, live bait. But anyways, guys, tight lines and have a good one. See ya.